I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here, blessed to be in the Knesset building with a member of Knesset, Simcha Rothman. And you are with which party in the Knesset?
Religious Zionist Party.
Okay.
And I'm the chair of the Constitution Committee. We stand in this room where the action happens.
This is the action place.
Yes.
And I had a couple of questions I'm going to ask you. First of all, UNRWA has been in the news a lot. Will you ask UNRWA, you're willing to ask UNRWA to inspect their schools and clinics for guns and ammunition?
We don't want UNRWA to inspect anything. UNRWA should be dissolved. UNRWA is a terrorist organization. And sadly, the money that good-hearted people and good-hearted countries pay to UNRWA is being used to teach terror and to hide terror tunnels and terror weapons in the schools, in the hospitals, in the buildings. So UNRWA should be dissolved. UNRWA should not check anything. Either the IDF will do it or some other independent mechanism will be, but UNRWA has lost any justification to exist as an organization.
I know this is in light of what happened, it came out news to the White House about with the Biden administration, kind of putting on hold the money to UNRWA because Hamas members were connected to the UNRWA.
Not only Hamas members were connected to UNRWA, there were UNRWA people that participated in October 7th attack. There were weapons hidden in UNRWA schools, and there were incitement for genocide in the school books that is being taught by UNRWA. UNRWA was formed in order to try to solve the refugee problem of the Middle East, of what happened in Israel more than 76 years ago. Instead of solving the problem, it created a bigger problem. In this time, the UN entity that usually take care of refugees dealt with millions of refugees and found them place to be and solved the problem. UNRWA was created to facilitate the problem, to make it bigger, and to create the terrors that we all experience. That's why UNRWA has no reason to exist today.
It's very troubling what's been happening with the UNRWA. I know there's been some different meetings here in the Knesset about that. And I wanted to have your response to the rise of anti-Semitism in light of October 7th.
So we saw immediately after October 7th, even before Israel started to retaliate or soldiers got into Gaza, we saw immediately first people lying and saying that things that were just on Twitter, just on TikTok, just on Facebook a second ago, and you can still see them there, did not happen, which of course to us remind us what is the Holocaust deniers. So we have now the October 7th deniers, and we have and it's a problem that comes from the same origin. And also the attacks on Jews just because they're Jews, and blaming Israel of a genocide even before Israel retaliated. So what we experience now is the basic anti-Semitism that got the legitimacy to rise. And sadly, some of this legitimacy came from the actions and from the enabling that comes, sadly, some part of it, from the administration in the United States. If you continuously talk about Israeli humanitarian aid when no other country were ever demanded to bring in so much humanitarian aid, and Israel brings in humanitarian aid. When you talk about the life of civilians, when the number of civilians that being hurt during the operation in Gaza is lower than any other country in the world, then you facilitate the false claims of anti-Semites, and you facilitate the claims, the false claims of the ICC and the ICJ, and this I don't see any excuse for that.
Your final comment about the anti-Semitic, the protests on the college campuses.
So sadly, a lot of this anti-Semitic attacks on Jews happened in campuses. Would you think would be a place of teaching, a place of peace, a place that just if someone was talking, they would talk. It's a microaggression to criticize someone. Now it's okay or it's context dependent to attack Jews. That's a shame, and it comes with ideology that basically supports terror. It's not just an anti-Semitic attacks. It's a pro-terror. And when you look at the funding, and when you look at the agitators that come there and try to agitate, you see this is Hamas supporters that are hiding behind so-called criticism of Israel. You can criticize Israel, but if you say from the river to the sea, Palestine would be free, what you mean is you're calling to genocide of the Jewish people. And that is not a legitimate discourse. That's not freedom of speech. That's terror.
And I just think about, how the anti-Semitism is in the media as well. I mean, I don't know if the Knesset has a policy regarding dealing with news reporters that are here that are very anti-Semitic, or I know there's a big issue, I think, at the White House as well, and how they deal with reporters that are anti-Semitic.
So first, we should not normalize anti-Semitism, full stop. But also Israel doesn't deals with, for example, with Al Jazeera, which does not only incite anti-Semitism but also incite terror, and we do not accept this operating. The terror can operate in many ways. A terror is sometimes a funding operation, it's a media operation. The fact that it's hiding behind a media operation does not make it less dangerous or less terrorists, and that's what we need to fight. It's a complex fight, but we have to win it. We have to win it not only for the sake of the Jewish people or for the sake of Israel, because the term "the West is next" is 100% correct. We see that the same people who are inciting against Israel, against Jews, they are also chanting "death to America." They are against everything that the Western civilization is supporting, and we need to fight them together.
I understand. It's very serious.